This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, you and I are gonna sit down together and have a nice, peaceful tea ceremony. Because hopefully we're gonna be aligned here, you and I. We're gonna be working together against the other guys in hopes that neither of us betray each other. Because today we're gonna be trying to take over different provinces for points in feudal Japan. Today we're talking about Rising Sun. This is from CMON and it's designed by Eric Lang. It's for 3 to 6 players. And I just got back from CMON Expo. So I'm going to give you sort of a first impressions or mini review after just one play of this to give you a feeling for what I thought about the game. But I did also just get some new camera equipment where I get some really cool magnifying images of the amazing minis in this game. So I'm going to show you those right before that. And I'm also going to give you a quick 1 to 1.5 minute overview of the game. So if you don't really know how the game plays or you don't really have a feeling for how it plays after looking at some of the videos that are out there, this is a great way to do that. So without further ado, here we go. In Rising Sun, 3 to 6 players will be attempting to diplomatically control provinces in feudal Japan over 4 seasons. Each season, your customized faction with your own powers and minis will form an alliance with another player in a tea ceremony. Then you'll be going through a political phase where you'll be recruiting more units into your strongholds or into the temples, which could give you the power of the gods. You'll be marshalling units to different areas to try and gain footholds. You'll be training your clan, giving you special abilities and new monsters, and you'll harvest to reap the rewards of provinces that you dominate. Finally, you can betray your ally to bring opposing forces to your side, but be careful because betraying causes you to break any alliances and lose honor, which is the utmost importance when breaking ties in every aspect of the game. Then you'll be going to war, where you'll be trying to diplomatically resolve conflicts in the provinces, which consists of a blind bidding system where bluffs, double bluffs, and head shakes are often found. You can kill all of your own figures to gain points for each one killed. You can take a hostage, which will get you points and possibly win you the battle. You can add force and ronins to help aid you in battle, and you can gain points for each figure killed. The winner gives all the coins bid to the loser, which helps keep things balanced and really turns the tables if the negotiated deal went south, like overbidding because you thought they were coming strong, only to see they killed all their own units and gained points and took all your money that you'd bid in the battle. In the end, you'll get huge points for having one power of as many different provinces as possible, but there's other ways to score points throughout the game. Alright, I hope you like checking out those cool minis. Now, what did I think about this game? Let me first give you some perspective. If you're not familiar with my tastes or my videos, let me just give you a frame of reference. Most people are going to try to compare this to Blood Rage. So let me just give you my preference and my thought on that. So I'm a person that does not have a lot of miniatures games. In fact, I think I only have one in my collection, and that is Mechs vs. Minions, which isn't a standard sort of miniatures game because it's really just a cooperative programming game with amazing minis. It's not as, you know, the games that people mostly think of as quote-unquote miniatures. It's the only miniatures game I own. I do like it a lot. Blood Rage is one of those games that I looked at, I played it, I enjoyed it very much. It was one of those games I looked at and said, wow, I can see why everybody loves this. I can see it's a great design. It's not still quite for me. I do enjoy it. I probably wouldn't turn down a play, but it's not one I went gaga over. It's not one that I own because plenty of people in my group have it. So I didn't go crazy over that. So that's sort of where I'm at. And just in history, I've played some of Eric Lang's games, and for me, his style hasn't really been something that I've loved in the past. But again, I can look at the games that he's designed and go, that's a good design, I can see it, it's just not for my taste. So up until this point, that's how I felt. So I was a little leery of Rising Sun, whether I would like it or not. So with that being said, let's start with the easy parts, the production. Wow, I mean, granted, this was probably definitely a pre-production copy very early, almost even a prototype, but I think most of it was final. Man, was it amazing. In typical CMON fashion, amazing production. The minis, as you just saw, they're amazing. Even the little minis that you get in the different the clans, they were awesome. All the pieces, even the non-upgraded plastic coins are cool. Everything in this game, the graphic design, everything is just top-notch. Everything that you would expect from CMON anyway. There's a lot of cool things about this game. The honor system, that's cool. It kind of reminded me of one of my favorite games, Nothing Personal, where the capo gets to say everything about ties. There's a lot of negotiation in that, and there's some ties to this here too. There is some negotiation, we'll get more on that in a minute, but there's also that honor system, which I think is really cool because you're going up and down the honor system, and that really breaks ties, and that's huge because there's a lot of ties in these games, and even if there aren't, or in times when they are not, you're always thinking about, wow, if I tie, this person's gonna beat me. You gotta think completely different. It really is a game changer. It's something you gotta pay attention to, and I love that form in this game of the honor system. Now let's talk a little bit about negotiating here, because this game is, a lot of people have said it's the spiritual successor. If Risk was sort of the legacy of Blood Rage, and this is more closely related to diplomacy. So a lot of people were sort of interested in this, but maybe possibly even worried about how much negotiation there is. And I think it depends on the group. I tend to play with people that really love negotiation and wheeling and dealing, so I always try to do that. In this game, there's different areas that you can negotiate with, and it's pretty free. There's some rules where you can't like bribe people in the middle of war and things like that, but for the most part, there's a lot of wheeling and dealing going on, and I like that. Some people are not gonna like that. Now, this is a game where for some of the game, you might be able to get away with playing it as like a straight Euro, not bribing, but when it comes down to the war, you're really gonna have to try to work things out with other people. And at that point, it's not really bribing. It's more like, okay, how about, you and I are in this battle, and then we're gonna be in a battle about after three more battles, we're gonna be battling again. How about you take this one, I'll spend no coins, you spend no coins, and then, I'll take this other one, and then we'll just both get off scot-free, okay? And then either it's gonna happen, or someone at some point is going to totally betray you and make you lose, or you don't believe them and you throw a bunch of coins down. So there's that head faking, that sort of wheeling and dealing. And I think that's actually different from some of the other negotiations in this game, which is more trading and bribing, things like that, trying to get people to do things that you want. And I guess they're somewhat similar, but they still feel kind of different to me. And I think in this game, you probably could play it a little bit more straight from the majority of the scenarios, or the phases, but that war part, you're really gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to work with people because there's a lot going on there. So more on that in just a bit. One of the things that I really loved about this game in that aspect of negotiation is it reminded me of one of my favorite Euro games that's super mean and is all about negotiating and wheeling and dealing deals and head fakes and double bluffs, and that's Tammany Hall. And when I played this game, the war aspect of this game is such a brilliant design with the order that things go in and how things work and how you can try to win more than one of those, and how you win those depends. It can change everything for not only that round, but it can change how everything else is, because if you spend a bunch of coins and you win, you lose those coins to the player that you're playing. I think that is absolutely brilliant, but it can totally hose you for a future battle that round. And it's all like, hey, what are you gonna do? Let's talk about it. And gosh, the war is so cool. The war itself made me love this game, because again, it reminded me of Tammany Hall, very much in essence of that. But Tammany Hall is very straightforward. There's not a lot to do. It's either like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm not. This has so many different avenues, even in the war, because you've got the, hey, I could kill all my guys and just boom. I could take a hostage. I could put some Ronin out there. So there's a lot of different things you can do. And sometimes in battles, there's like 2 or 3 different ways. You know, one of the things that helped me really like this game more than I ever thought I would was that about halfway through, the lead developer sat down with us, was watching us play. And when battles would come up, he would let us do them. And then he would say, okay, how many outcomes do you think could have happened in there? We're like, well, that one. And he's like, no, look at this. If you had done this, these are 2 or 3 other outcomes that could have happened. And we're like, and our minds were blown that like, even with this simple setup, there were so many different things to think about once you learn that. And there's so many different ways that you could negotiate your way in or out of that for that or future reasons. It was just amazing. And he showed us stuff that like, you know, you go to the first battlefield and lose it on purpose and get a bunch of coins that'll help you in some future battles that round. And just like certain things that we probably wouldn't have seen in the game after just one play that we were able to see and digest because we had that lead developer there. So I'm saying that to say that I absolutely loved this game way more than I thought I was going to, but a lot of it could have been because we had some help. It almost like we took a ton of experience of someone who's played the game over 100 times and melded some of that into us even on the first play. So if you're not feeling it or loving it on the first play, this might be one of those games that might take some time for you to love. So yeah, the war is amazing, and giving the coins to the loser really balances things out. It really is a game changer. Brilliant design choice there. There's a lot of other things I like about the game. Those season cards, awesome. There's 3 different types of them that you can either change for your style of play, or you can kind of like randomly put one of each of those in there. I like that, and I like how they're different things. Some are for abilities, some are for goals, some are for monsters, some are for war, some are for endgame. I love how you have different things for there. I like the different gods. There's, you know, I think 7 of them in the base game, and only 4 used each game, and they're in a specific order, and that matters because you could go for the one with honor that pushes you up, and then that might actually help you win a tie on one later. And those things happen 3 times in the round, so they're more powerful the earlier you go for them each season. And just all these things that just connect well. The design in this game is so elegant, streamlined, beautiful. There is a lot going on, but it's not complex. For a 28-page rulebook that I read and then played the game, it didn't feel like a 28-page rulebook. Like, this game felt amazingly elegant. So there's a lot of things I liked about the whole game as a whole, and I really felt like it took like that gem of a Tammany Hall little thing that I loved about the negotiation and double bluffing, and just put so much more around that, and then also extrapolated even on that specific part of the negotiation that I really loved. Now, so I went into this not even thinking I was going to like it, and I was floored at how much I liked it. Now granted, I was a little predetermined to like it because I do love negotiation games. I do love bribing. I play with a group that loves all that stuff. And so it really is up my alley. And that's why I was a little bit surprised, but then in the back of my head, really not really. But I absolutely was floored by this game, even after just one play, and I'm dying to play more. So what does this mean for you guys? Well, I think there's going to be straight Euro players out there who don't like negotiation. They don't like trading. And if you play the game and you're not going to do anything like that, or you don't like that, this is a game you might not like. Because it's hard to play straight. You can play some of it straight, but at some point you're going to have to do some wheeling and dealing. If you don't like being mean and messing people over, you're not going to like this game. So there are some people, I think some fans of Blood Rage are going to hope that this is like the sequel to Blood Rage and it's going to feel like it, but different. I don't think so. I think it's very different because of that negotiation and bribery and such. So I think there are going to be some people that are possibly disappointed because it's not their style, but there's also going to be people like me who liked Blood Rage, thought it was good, very good even, but then get something like this and just loves it because of negotiation. It really is a game changer for me. And I've heard some people that played it over CMON that said, well, I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of negotiation there. And you know what, I can see that because, you know, Nothing Personal is one of my favorite games, and it's open-ended negotiation. And the first time we played that, we played it very straight, almost played it like a Euro. And it's like, sometimes if the negotiation is so open, it almost makes it closed by default because you don't even know what to negotiate for or when to negotiate or what you should be doing. So sometimes you just throw it out as opposed to saying, well, you could trade this or this. And some of those easier trading negotiation games, sometimes if it's a more focused, it happens more often. Where here, it's very open. And deals aren't binding. So that's another thing. If you don't like it when someone can make a deal and then go back on it, you're probably not going to like the game, or it's very possible that you might not like it depending on what happens to you. So just be careful. I loved it to death, but I just want to make sure you know what you're getting into. And I did see that it could be played without negotiation, and some people might not be as high on the negotiation, but it is really an amazing part of the game, and it makes the game, I think, that next step better. If you're trading, if you're negotiating, if you're messing with people, if you're making deals and then going back on them at some point, that's what really makes this game from an excellent game to an amazing game. But be careful, because you might not like that thing. So after one play, I'm dying to get my hands on Play This More next April when it comes out. And for someone who's pleasantly surprised and loving it, obviously with the grain of salt of the things I just said, some people aren't going to like it, and I totally get it. And some people are going to think, the negotiation isn't really there. It is if you make it there, and for my opinion, it makes the game amazing. And that, my friends, is my first impressions of Rising Sun.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.